This is my fifth recording and fourth recording on the book Atomic Habit. Last time I was talking about chapter number 2, how your habits shape your identity and vice versa. And I talked about the first part, three layers, three layers of behavior change. Let's review them. Three layers of behavior change. There were three things that we can change. One was the outcomes, the result we want. The second is processes, what we do, how we actually spend time, what actions do we take. The third and deepest layer is our identity. It's how we think. So when it comes to personal development, there are three things that we need to change. We need to change the results, we need to change the processes, and the identity. All three things are necessary to be changed. For example, for a student, he would want better grades. That's the outcome. Processes would be to actually study more, and the identity is how he thinks. Does he think that study is a waste of time, or does he think that study you can become successful without studying? That's a very popular belief. So that's identity. Now, James Clear argues that obviously all three things are important, but what people dismiss is which layer do we change first? And he argues that we must begin with identity, how we actually view at the world. So to become a good student, you will need to actually realize that study is important. And here he has given an example. You may want better health. You may want better health, but if you continue to prioritize comfort over accomplishment, you will be drawn to relaxing rather than training. So he's saying you may want better health, but if you think that comfort is better than discomfort, if you think comfort is better than discomfort, then you will be more likely to be inclined toward relaxing than training. So you will see this belief among the physically athletic people, that they actually love discomfort. They actually enjoy pain, you can say. A healthy kind of pain, not too much pain, but healthy kind of pain that gives you growth. That's the idea of three layers of change. And let me talk about the new topic, how identity affects behavior. How identity affects behavior. The more pride you have in a particular aspect of your identity, the more motivated you will be to maintain the habits associated with it. If you are proud of how your hair looks, if you are proud of how your hair looks, you will develop all sorts of habits, all sorts of habits to care for and maintain it. If you are proud of the size of your biceps, you will make sure to never skip an upper body workout. Once your pride gets involved, you will fight tooth and nail to maintain your habits. So here pride is similar to the identity, right? He's using the word pride for the identity. If a behavior becomes a part of who you are, if the more pride you have in your particular identity, then you will perform all sorts of actions that reinforce the identity. And he's talking about someone with nice hair, or someone with someone with good biceps. And I think it's true. If you look around at people, if you look around at people and see what they believe, then you will see that their beliefs actually affect their behavior a lot. If someone is, if a student is proud of their grades, if they have pride in their grades, then yes, you will see them studying a lot. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you will stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. Improvements are only temporary until they become part of who you are. So, in his book, he really emphasized the idea that success is not crossing a finish line. It's about consistently doing what is required every day till the last breath. So temporary means crossing a finish line. So you might get physically fit for some goal, but if you don't believe in what you're doing, then that's temporary. Temporary doesn't mean like a few days. It means that it doesn't last till your last. It doesn't last till your entire life. So until it changes your identity, if it changes your identity, if it changes your beliefs, then it's a permanent change. You might start a habit because of motivation, yeah, motivation, but if you don't believe in it, if it doesn't become part of who you are, it's temporary. It will not last a long time. You can take example of a programmer. People actually, you will see people are studying for exams, but until they start to believe that they are a programmer, then there is no finish line to cross. That's just what we do. I'm a programmer and I spend time writing code. That's what I do. So that's the identity. Your behaviors are usually a reflection of your identity. Wow, that's a good idea. So you can actually peek inside yourself and see what you're doing. That will make you realize what you actually believe in. Your behaviors are usually a reflection of your identity. What you do is an indication of the type of person you believe that you are, either consciously or non consciously. Research has shown that once a person believes in a particular aspect of their identity, they are more likely to act in alignment with that belief. The person who incorporates exercise into their identity doesn't have to convince themselves to train. Doing the right thing is easy. After all, when your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, you are no longer pursuing behavior change. You are simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be. Yeah, last time I talked about cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is pursuing change. When there is no cognitive dissonance, then you are no longer changing. You are just acting in alignment with who you are. So that's what he's talking about, removing that dissonance. After all, when your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, when you believe that what you do is correct, then you are no longer changing. You are simply acting like the type of person you already believe yourself to be. Like all aspects of behavior, like all aspects of habit formation, this too is a double-edged sword. When working for you, identity change can be a powerful force for self-improvement. When working against you, though, identity change can be a curse. Once you have adopted an identity, it can be easy to let your loyalty to it impact your ability to change. Many people walk through life in a cognitive slumber. blindly following the norms attached to their identity. Hmm. Well, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, I didn't actually put some stress on either consciously or or non-consciously. So you might have, it means that consciously is what you think, non-consciously is the deeper part of the brain that we don't actually have complete access to. That's the most dangerous part of the brain. And you might not even know what kind of beliefs you have in the deeper part of the brain non-consciously. For example, most people actually have bad experiences. For example, they might fail in some aspiration. That might put a belief in the non-conscious mind that they are a failure. They will not say it consciously, but non-consciously it will affect their thinking that they are a failure. And when someone believes that they are a failure, they will not strive hard in their life. And this part, habit formation, we have talked about double-edged sword, something that the same, something that can either benefit you or harm you. That's the idea of double-edged sword, and identity change is also a double-edged sword. So when you act on something multiple times, it can actually change your beliefs. And if it changes your beliefs in a negative way, as I told you, someone who actually fails multiple times in life, they might start to believe that they are a failure. Or doesn't someone who doesn't work very hard, they might think that they are lazy. Those are the kind of beliefs. No one planted these beliefs consciously. No one started to believe I am a lazy person, but through their actions, these beliefs were automatically planted into their non conscious mind, the deeper level. Like all aspects of habit formation, this too is a double edged sword. When working for you, identity change can be a powerful force for self improvement. When working against you, though, identity change can be a curse. Once you have adopted an identity, it can be easy to let your loyalty to it impact your ability to change. Yeah, I would like to argue about gaming. Most people who have been playing for multiple years, they call themselves a gamer. Gamer is an identity. People who spend too much time on social media, let's say on Reddit, they call themselves Redditor. On TikTok, people call themselves TikToker. Those are identity. Those are identities. And when you actually start to believe in them, they might hinder your progress into toward your goals. Now, no one was born as a gamer. They got that identity. They started to call themselves a gamer after spending a significant portion of their life on playing video games. Many people walk through life in a cognitive slumber, blindly following the norms attached to their identity. Many people walk through life in a cognitive slumber, blindly following the norms attached to their identity. When you have repeated a story to yourself for years, it is easy to slide into these mental grooves. Mental grooves. I like the idea. And accept them as a fact. Yeah, isn't that what we call brainwashing? You repeat the same story to yourself for years and you have evidence for it, right? It's not like you are just repeating the same idea, but you also have taken the action multiple times. As I told about gaming, A random person will not understand why this gamer is spending like hours and hours every day. But the person who plays video games, that's just how they are. They will say, well, that's just who I am. So this is what he is saying. It is easy to slide into these mental grooves and accept them as a fact. So for example, if you're a gamer, the identity, the gamer, is not set in a stone. If you want to, you could quit it if you want to. You were not born to play video games. If you think it is taking a significant portion of your time and there are better things to pursue, you can change your identity. Just like you became a gamer, you can, in the same way, you can become someone else. You can become an athletic person. You can become a reader. You can become a musician. In the same way, in time, you begin to resist certain actions because that's not who I am. That's not who I am. That's what you would hear about students who are not good at study. You will give them advice, you will tell them, spend more time. They will say, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. There is internal pressure to maintain your self image and behave in a way that is consistent with your beliefs. You find whatever way you can to avoid contradicting yourself. You find whatever way you can to avoid contradicting yourself. Now, again, I want to talk about the non conscious mind, the deeper part of the brain that actually gives you ideas, that actually gives you the choices to act upon. That's the thing. Let's say you let's take an example of someone who came from work, right? And he want to relax. He will think about what can I do to relax. That's the conscious mind. But the choices that will come to his mind, like play video games or watch TV or or go to sleep, those choices will be coming from the non-conscious mind. And when he's saying that you find whatever way you can to avoid contradicting yourself, those are the choices non-conscious mind will give you that will align with your identity. You can't get too attached to one version of your identity. Progress requires unlearning. Yeah, it doesn't just mean to grind more information to your brain, it also means to remove information that is harming you, that is unlearning. It's like you have a house. You have to clean it first, then you can decorate it. You cannot decorate a dirty room. So, progress requires unlearning, not only learning useful, helpful ideas, but unlearning ideas that are harming you, that are hindering your progress. Here he's talking about unlearning the identities that are sabotaging your progress. You can't get too attached to one version of your identity. Progress requires unlearning. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. Yeah, Brian Tracy says that in order to become a millionaire, in order to make $1 million, you need to become a completely different person. And he said that first million is very hard, second million is inevitable. The idea that once you become a millionaire, now your identity is aligned with the identity of a millionaire, and if you act the same way, you will get the second million. So here we talked about how our identity affects the behavior, how our beliefs about ourselves dictate how we spend our time, dictate what actions we take. So this was the idea, how identity affects behavior, and you can peek in yourself and see what kind of identities you have and how they are dictating your behavior, and what kind of behavior you would like to change, and to change them, what kind of identities you want to change about them. That's the idea. And in the next video, we can talk about how habits affect identity, so it's the reverse. And how do we actually change identity? We didn't talk about changing identity, we just talked about what identity is and how it affects how we spend our time. So in the next video, we are actually going to talk about changing the identity. That's it.